everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Kat.
And today we have our TOEIC article.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit more of a grown-up topic. Probably not something you guys are that familiar with yet, but in the future, if you get a job, particularly in an office, it might become very important to you.
That's right. The title for this article is called Big Announcements at the Staff Meeting.
Ta-da!
Yay!
Big announcements.
Everybody loves meetings, don't we?
Yeah, we love meetings. Meetings, they never go too long. Nobody ever talks too much. Of course, you guys gotta know I am being very sarcastic. I am kidding. I'm making a joke. Okay. Do you think that meetings are important to have, though?
I think it depends. I think it's definitely important if you really do have a lot of changes going on and you just want to share the information with people quickly. But I think with meetings, you just have to get to the point. Like sometimes meetings accidentally drag too long, and that's when it becomes kind of like, what's this for?
Yeah, couldn't we have done this faster?
Yep.
Well, I guess we should get to the article and see if this is one of those meetings that drags on and on, or if this person actually can get to the point with their announcements. So let's go ahead and do that now.
Reading. Big announcements at the staff meeting. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to the meeting on such short notice. Now that everyone is here, let's get started. We have 2 items on our agenda today. My first announcement relates to some changes in our reporting structure. Most of you have been reporting to Stuart Lancaster, who was head of accounts. Since Stuart left the company, we have eliminated this position. All of you will now be reporting to Suzanne Bernard, who is our Chief Finance Officer. This will make things easier for everyone, as only one person will be responsible for making decisions. The second item relates to the staff kitchen. Unfortunately, the kitchen is going to be turned into our call center. As the company is now doing more international business, we are getting flooded with calls from overseas customers. We need to hire new personnel to take orders and deal with problems for our global clients. You'll need to find somewhere else to eat. We sincerely apologize for the trouble.
Okay, so our article is starting off today with Tiffany.
Okay, it says, Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to the meeting on such short notice. Now that everyone is here, let's get started. Okay, well, it's good to always kind of address someone in a meeting and to maybe kind of introduce to people like what you're going to talk about and your topic and stuff. So here, this person is saying that, okay, thank you for coming to the meeting on such a short notice. Now, on short notice or on a short notice just means that we didn't really have time to prepare for it. We didn't get notified and we didn't have time to, you didn't give people time to say, okay, here is a meeting or save some time for the meeting. It's kind of like quite, in Chinese we say it's very 临时. Okay, so that's what short notice means.
Okay, so maybe they would have told these people like an hour before the meeting or less
Maybe
time
even
than
less
that.
than that.
Maybe just 10 minutes ago they said, hey, we have a meeting right now, let's do it. That would be very short notice. Okay, well, let's go on with the article. And this person says, we have 2 items on our agenda today. Okay, so they already know the points they're going to be talking about. And this word agenda, A-G-E-N-D-A, is like the schedule of a meeting. And it's kind of, the list of topics that somebody wants to talk about. Whether you get to all of them or not, it depends on how many there are or how much time you spend on each one, but it's sort of like a list of goals that you have for a meeting. It could also be a list of goals you have for other things, like it could be just a list of things you are planning to complete in the near future, like my agenda for school says I have 7 homework assignments due this week, and so I have to complete all of those. So yeah, that's like what an agenda is, kind of a list of what you want to do.
Next it says, my first announcement relates to some changes in our reporting structure. Okay, so here we see our first vocabulary word, announcement. Announcement is a noun and it means a written or spoken statement, and it tells people something important. Usually announcements are made to the public. It means that it is said or it is being written for everyone to know or for everyone to hear. For example, we can say Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, made an announcement. Markle, is it?
Yeah, it's Markle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meghan Markle made an announcement about their marriage. It means they wanted everyone to hear about their marriage and they want people to, give their blessings and stuff. So the first announcement relates to changes or some changes in our reporting structure. Now, relate to is a phrase and it just means connected to something. It means it has to do with something else. So, for example, I can say this topic relates to climate change and it just means whatever this topic that this person is talking about will be about that. Now, what changes are being made? Well, some changes are being made in their reporting structure. So it just basically means who you need to speak to when you pass things over or who you need to report to basically. So usually people report to their managers or report to someone above them. Maybe there's going to be some changes in that. Like maybe you don't have to speak to the manager now. Maybe you have to speak to the assistant manager first or something like that. So there's some changes in that and it's good to know who you need to report back to or tell people what you need to do.
Right, because if you don't know who to go to if you have some problems or if you have some questions in your job, it can make things a lot more difficult because you start going around to everybody and then things slow down.
Yeah.
You see, you want to know who you're reporting to. Okay, so who are they reporting to? Well, the article says most of you have been reporting to Stuart Lancaster, who was head of accounts. So head of accounts is actually like the head of things that happen in terms of what people are doing in the office. Like they are taking care of all the projects or all of the different things that people are taking care of. So they're kind of like the boss of, they kind of are supposed to be the person that knows what's going on with everybody. That's their job. So one of the executive or high up positions in a corporate company.
It says, since Stuart left the company, we have eliminated this position. When you eliminate something, it means you just get rid of something. So there's no more title of head of accounts anymore. They eliminated it because maybe Stuart has been working at this company for a very long time and maybe it would be difficult to replace him and stuff. So they just decided, well, maybe let's just get rid of this position. We'll change it around to make it easier for everybody.
And we're also talking about this word position. So a position is a noun that means someone's particular job. So if you do the same job as everybody else, like let's say that all of you are teachers, but there's a position which is a particular kind of teacher, perhaps like head teacher or history teacher. It's a more specific kind of job, and it's the kind you have a title for. So somebody might ask you, like, what's your position in the company? And if you're working in a corporate environment like this, you might say, oh, I'm the vice president, or I'm the CFO, or the CEO, which is the boss. So it's basically the kind of job that you have a title for. And so here's an example of that. This small design company is creating the new position of senior creative, and they want to give Perry the job. Yeah, or maybe he left and they decided like, oh, his job, somebody else could do his job and do their own job at the same time. So it sounds like that might be what they're doing, because what it says next is all of you will now be reporting to Susan Bernard, who is our chief finance officer. Or I'm used to saying chief financial officer. But either way, the chief finance officer, or what they usually call the CFO, is the person who's in charge of the company's books, which means like all the money that goes in and out of the company.
Stressful.
Because you're dealing with a lot of money, and you have to make sure that at, are you making a profit? Are you losing money on things? Like, are you paying people too little? Are you paying them too much? How many people do you have to pay every month? That sort of thing. So it's a lot to take care of, and they probably have several assistants or accountants to help with that, but it's still a very, very big job. And it also sounds like now she's taking on the job of taking everybody's reports too. So the job got even bigger.
Next, it says this will make things easier for everyone as only one person will be responsible for making decisions. Okay? So yeah, like Kat mentioned, maybe the reason why they eliminated this position was just to make things easy for people. They think that one person can do maybe 2 jobs or something. So only Susan will be responsible for making those decisions. When you are responsible for something, it just means that you are in charge of it. Okay? The responsibility kind of rests on you or rests on that person.
So it means that she's the one who everybody should go to when they have something important to ask.
Okay, so yes, a lot of big changes so far at this company. I guess that's good for Susan, though, because that means she probably got a promotion then, hopefully.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a promotion from chief finance officer because I think that's only second to vice president and CEO.
They're already quite high up there. Well, just maybe just more
money.
More money for her. All right, next in the article it says the second item relates to the staff kitchen. Okay, so some companies, they're quite nice. They have their own like cafeteria or kitchen, so you don't have to go outside for lunch. You can eat inside of company and eat at the cafeteria. So there's something happening. There's some changes happening there as well.
Right. Well, it sounds like the changes are not exactly the good kind because the next sentence says, unfortunately, the kitchen is going to be turned into our call center. So, well, you can't eat phone calls, guys. So I guess, what is a call center anyway? I guess if I was hearing that the kitchen was going away, I would want to know what is a call center and why is our kitchen being turned into it? Well, a call center is like an office or a room where you have a lot of people taking telephone calls. So usually they're sitting at a computer with like some knowledge of how to help people, and they're taking telephone calls typically from customers who are using their products and maybe they're having a problem or they have a question that they need to solve. So being a call center operator is actually a very common job in the business world, and it's especially common in large organizations. So, for example, if you work for Apple and you are a call center employee, then people might call you to ask like, well, my iPhone is doing this weird thing. What do I do? And you try and fix their problem.
Also, quite stressful job, I think.
Yeah, because there's lots of angry people.
Yeah, super angry people. And you have to also deal with how to calm these customers down and stuff.
Ma'am, I'm working on it, okay?
Relax, please. All right, so next it says, as the company is now doing more international business, we are getting flooded with calls from overseas customers. Okay, no wonder they need more space.
Definitely.
Yeah, because they're, well, it's good for them. Their business is expanding. It means their business is doing well. Their business is becoming bigger because now they have more international business. And that means that they are getting flooded with calls from people overseas. Now, when this phrase get flooded with basically means to receive so many letters or maybe a lot of complaints, emails, or phone calls that it's difficult to deal with them all at once. So imagine having like 10 people answering the phones, but you get 10,000 people calling each day or almost every hour. That's really overwhelming for a lot of people.
That's too much to handle.
Yeah, way too much. So I guess they need more people, they need more staff, they need more space, so they have to get rid of the staff kitchen for now.
For now,
For now, maybe for now.
Okay. Yeah. All right, and we also have this word overseas. So we're talking about overseas customers, and overseas is an adjective that means something that's happening in another country, or particularly in a country across the ocean. Like you can't really say if you're going from China to India, you can't really say it's overseas because it's in the same continent. You're not going over any sort of ocean. But if you're going from China to the US, that would definitely be an overseas trip or an overseas job, something like that. So it should be on a different continent or on a different island. So for example, Janet is going to transfer to our overseas office. So soon she'll be working in London instead of Taipei. That is definitely a long way away. So, yeah, all right. And then we have this other word, customer. So if we're talking about getting flooded with calls from overseas customers, well, now we know what getting flooded with calls from overseas is, but what is a customer? Well, a customer is a noun that means it's somebody being served by a business or a company, or it's somebody who buys the products of that business. Like we were saying, like if you are a customer of Apple, maybe you bought their iPhone, maybe you bought their MacBook, maybe you bought a bunch of other things from them. I know that Apple tends to like to give their customers everything.
Yes.
Right. Or you can be a customer of many different kinds of businesses, even small ones like cafes, or if you buy something in an electronics store, you go shopping at a supermarket to buy your groceries, you can be a customer as long as you buy something from these places or shop at these places. For businesses that are making deals with people who are using their services, usually who own their own business or something like that, they're often called clients. So clients are more like you make a deal with them rather than they're just shopping for you. So an example of customer might be, many customers complained when McDonald's stopped selling its chocolate ice cream sundaes in Taiwan.
Oh, I was one of them.
You are a complainer?
Yeah.
I think
Those
I
are
was
so
too.
good.
Yeah.
And the milkshakes too. I'm so sad about that.
At least they still have the milkshakes.
I think they're gone now.
What?
Yeah.
No!
I remember they're gone now, so I'm like, oh my god, where am I going to get my milkshakes now?
Well, McDonald's, you made a mistake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, milkshakes are kind of easy to make, but
I suppose.
it's different.
Yeah.
It's different when you buy one and when you make one at home.
That's right. I think we're getting off topic,
Yeah.
though.
Oh, we'll come back. All right. This says, we need to hire new personnel to take orders and deal with problems for our global clients. Okay. Now, like I mentioned, maybe because they are getting too many phone calls and not enough people to help answer them, they need to hire new personnel. Personnel are people who work for a specific company or business. They're just basically the employees of the company. So they need to hire more workers or they need to hire more employees. They need these employees to help deal with problems. When you deal with something, it means you need to handle this problem or you need to take action to solve a problem. Okay? So for example, I can say the manager had to deal with a difficult customer today. Okay, or the new mom doesn't know how to deal with her baby crying all the time.
That does sound tough.
Yeah, very stressful.
Yeah, and so we have this other vocab word here, which is global. Global is a little bit like overseas, but not quite the same. It's an adjective too, but it means from around the world. It comes from the word globe, meaning the shape of the earth. Like the earth is kind of a ball shape. We call that a globe. So if something is global, it just means it can be all around the world. So all these customers are calling from many different countries. An example sentence might be, the global economy depends on the success of some of the richest countries in the world. So if those countries fail, the rest of the world kind of is in trouble. Yeah.
All right, next it says, you'll need to find somewhere else to eat. We sincerely apologize for the trouble. Oh, man.
Yeah.
That is
bad news.
Very bad news. Okay, so the company does say, we sincerely apologize for the trouble. When you're sincere, it means that you're very true, you're very genuine about something. But sincerely is an adverb and it just means you're truly something, truly this or truly that. So you truly or genuinely feel something or are something. Okay, so I can say, I sincerely hope that you do a better job next time. Okay, we can also say, my little brother is sincerely sad about losing our dog.
Oh, I would be too if I were him. Okay, and then, of course, they say, we sincerely apologize. And apologize just means to say sorry for something. It's like a little more formal way to say, I'm sincerely sorry. I sincerely apologize. And you're expressing your regretful feelings, your sad feelings for something. All right, well, it looks like that's all of the article for today. They left on kind of a bad note, but maybe tomorrow will be a little bit better. So for now, let's go to our For You chat.
For You chat.
All right, welcome to our For You chat, and it says, what do you think is the best way of making decisions in our group? Should everyone work together, or should the most important person decide why?
That is a tough question. I think if you possibly can, if everyone gets along really well and doesn't argue, you can put things to a vote.
Yes.
And I think that's the best way. But
it's more fair.
Yeah. But if people are arguing and it's just dragging on and on and on, then maybe you should, you know...
You need a leader.
You need a leader.
Yes.
You need somebody to unite everybody. Yeah.
So I think it really just depends on how these people kind of work together, what their vibe is, and if they get along or not. If everyone's very peaceful and they get along well, yes, we can all vote and have a fair decision.
Right.
But if it's not like that, if it's the opposite, I think, I agree. I think it's better to have one person to just kind of step in and be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. End of story. That's the easiest.
I've definitely had both situations in different groups. So, it all depends on the people involved. Yeah.
All right. So what do you guys think? You can talk about it with your friends, with your family, and even discuss it with teachers or whoever, adults who work. And let us know what you think. But that's all the time that we have for today. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Big announcements at the staff meeting. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to the meeting on such short notice. Now that everyone is here, let's get started. We have 2 items on our agenda today. My first announcement relates to some changes in our reporting structure. Most of you have been reporting to Stuart Lancaster, who was head of accounts. Since Stuart left the company, we have eliminated this position. All of you will now be reporting to Suzanne Bernard, who is our Chief Finance Officer. This will make things easier for everyone, as only one person will be responsible for making decisions. The second item relates to the staff kitchen. Unfortunately, the kitchen is going to be turned into our call center. As the company is now doing more international business, we are getting flooded with calls from overseas customers. We need to hire new personnel to take orders and deal with problems for our global clients. You'll need to find somewhere else to eat. We sincerely apologize for the trouble.
Vocabulary Review.
Announcement. The president of the company made an announcement about moving the main offices to another city. Position. Franklin quit his job, and we will hire a new person for his position next week. Overseas. The company has overseas offices in Canada, the U.S., and Australia. Customer. Melanie felt happy all evening after receiving a $50 tip from one of her customers. Client. I had a meeting with a client who wants me to arrange more projects for his company. Global. The brothers' tiny business in Taipei grew into a global technology company with offices in London and New York. Sincerely. The client was upset that his order was 2 weeks late, and Martin said he was sincerely sorry for the slow delivery.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net